So I'm out here today at the Applique Getaway 2025, and I'm here with
Letty Walker with Walker Woods Creations.
awesome. And Letty, I always like to ask every guest on my podcast, who do you say you are?
Who do I what?
Who do you say you are?
Who do I say I am? Oh, let's see. I am an enthusiast that loves teaching other people how to do things, kind of helping just pass the word out so we can all make a better business. That's what I'm about.
And how did you find out about the Applique Getaway?
Alexis. So Alexis was here and suggested that we come down. I had a couple other friends that were coming down a couple years ago. So actually, I've been here multiple times.
Got you. And what is Applique, or what's the Getaway all about?
So the Getaway is a chance for like-minded individuals that are in the embroidery or sublimation business, even with rhinestones and other things, to get together, share ideas, share concepts, share knowledge, and build friendships.
Awesome. And what got you into embroidery and crafting and things of that sort?
So what got me into embroidery was actually a daughter who was in competitive cheer, who needed gifts for a team, and I thought, oh, I can make custom pillowcases, and it has blossomed into that over the years. So through doing rhinestones, sequins, you name it, it's now a full-time embroidery business.
Awesome. And one thing, I've been kind of messing with this question a little bit to ask,
Sure.
what what is it that you enjoy doing for other people, or what is it that you enjoy that other people do for you?
Well, what I enjoy doing for other people is actually passing on knowledge. So it gives me a lot of pride and pleasure for somebody to be able to go, how do you do that? And I go, hey, let me show you how I do that. And you know what? There are more than one ways to do anything, right? We can come up with multiple ways. But I think through sharing what we learn is what it not only passes it to everybody else that we have as peers, but it passes it down through the generations. And I think that's the important thing, to keep that hands-on ability to create things going.
Got you. Could you tell me a little bit about where you grew up and what you got into as a young girl?
Trouble. No, trouble. I grew up in Western Pennsylvania. My family was pretty modest. We did have a riding stable with like 75 horses and later a restaurant. So as a child, it was lots of child labor, whether it was cleaning stalls, buffing saddles, or later on making pies and working in the restaurant. So I think that's what gave me my work ethic through the years of just, you're always busy doing something. So that was me. And then after high school, my parents had a rule of 2 years out on your own or go to college. And they made just enough money for me not to go to college. So I actually was out on my own and moved to Kansas and have been there ever since. And then eventually got married and moved closer back to home. So we're now in Ohio. So
Got you. I guess what was that like going from Pennsylvania to Kansas, and why Kansas?
I had an older brother who was out in Kansas at the time, so it was a place to stay and get a job. Uh, it actually was a bigger change coming from Kansas back to PA. I would come home for things like a school reunion, and literally people thought we still had covered wagons and horses out in Kansas. I was like, no, we're just as modern as you guys are here and back in Pennsylvania. So, but a whole different lifestyle. I mean, it's a lot slower in the Midwest than it is in Pennsylvania. Obviously, they talk a little slower in the Midwest than Pennsylvania. Um, but really great folks, great family connections and everything else. So nice, very nice.
That's awesome. And I'm guessing it's something that's definitely kept you around, staying in Kansas versus moving back to Pennsylvania.
It is. I actually have a job with a phone company, so I started out there in Kansas. When we shut down a center like 20 years later, I moved to Indiana, then got married and moved to Ohio. Um, so yeah, I love the area though. Absolutely adore Kansas City. So
Awesome. And I guess, can you tell me a little bit about working with the phone company, what that's been like, and what it started like and what it's like now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So when I started in the 80s, divestiture, which means when they broke up Ma Bell and everything else, had just happened. So actually, I came in on that ground floor. So I helped create circuit IDs for what the telcos did. I actually saw some of our last step offices shut down. And if you've never, and somebody will go, I have no idea what she's talking about. When you made a phone call, you could hear it click through the office in what they called a step switch, and you would hear switches go up and down on the machines as the calls transferred. So those, I saw those actually close out and go away, and digital, office equipment come in. When you had to pick your long distance carrier, that was me too. I helped set that up so you could pick a carrier to handle your phone calls. And now I work for policies and procedures, and I help do stuff for Ethernet services and road practices that are used to order Ethernet all over the world. So I'm not in anything quite as exciting nowadays. I used to do stuff with like the Joint Chiefs of Staff for priority reservation. I don't have to do that anymore. But I do divestiture work where we've sold off things. I work with the companies to get things moving. So
That's awesome. It's funny when we met yesterday and we started talking a little bit, and I was like, maybe this is something adjacent to that, and you never know what you would find or who you run into just being at an event that has completely nothing of what you think with your background. But
yeah,
I think it's pretty neat.
it is, and it's amazing how, and I think you'll know from even your side of what you do, that knowledge base is completely separate from, it's a little niche market. So not a lot of people know about like what that equipment does, how that works, how things connect off. Yeah, it's interesting to find someone else with that same thing, because you're like, oh, I could talk about this.
Right.
So yeah. So
That's very cool, because I met someone else and we were having a conversation about tea of all things, and it's like, hey, we can talk tea now, which I mean has other implications, but it is pretty fun to meet other people that you didn't know yesterday, and then all of a sudden you just have something of mutual interest that really makes a new friendship.
absolutely. It is a small world, isn't it? And then we truly are all interconnected in some way or another. Yeah.
Definitely agree with you. Thank you again for taking the time to talk with me today.
Hey, you know what? Thank you for being here this weekend, because I will say I have enjoyed the conversations as well. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Until next time.
Yep.